5 defenses to start in Week 17. Number 1 on the list is the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins face off against the Cleveland Browns this week, whose offense has given up the most fantasy points per game to opposing defenses with 12 per contest. And with the Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski already coming out and saying that Dorian Thompson-Robinson will start if healthy, it's hard not to think that the Dolphins won't find a lot of success. Thompson-Robinson is coming off of a game where he took 5 sacks, threw 2 interceptions, and had 1 fumble but recovered it. He's dealing with a minor calf issue, and if he was unable to go, the Browns would have to turn to either Jameis Winston or Bailey Zappi, arguably making this matchup even more enticing. Winston threw 12 interceptions, took 24 sacks, and lost 2 of 5 fumbles across his 7 starts this year. And Zappi, he threw 8 interceptions, took 25 sacks, and lost 4 of 6 fumbles in his 14 games in New England, 8 of which he started. Number 2 on the list is the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts face off against the Giants this week, and after Drew Lock threw 2 pick-sixes last week, the Giants offense is now allowing the 3rd most fantasy points per game to opposing defenses with a little bit more than 11. And with the Giants officially in the driver's seat for the top pick in the 2025 draft, they have very little incentive to win this game. And the Colts, on the other hand, have all the motivation in the world to win this game. While their playoff chances are very slim, standing at 13%, stranger things have happened, and they need to win out if they want to have any chance of sliding in. With how abysmal Drew Lock looked yesterday, it would not be shocking at all to see the Giants hand the keys back over to Tommy DeVito. While DeVito did not turn the ball over in his 1.5 games of action this year, he did take 6 sacks. Number 3 on the list is the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are the 7th highest scoring defense in fantasy this year, averaging just under 8 points per game. And they face off against the New England Patriots offense that's giving up the 5th most fantasy points per game to opposing defenses, with a little bit more than 9. While Drake May continues to make strides and has plenty of positives to take away from his matchup against Buffalo last week, he did make his fair share of mistakes, throwing 1 interception, losing 1 of 2 fumbles, and taking 2 sacks. This is right in line with how most of the games for May have gone this year, and while I do expect this game to be closer than many expect, ultimately I think protection issues and turnovers will rear their ugly head throughout this game. Number 4 on the list is the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders face off against a Saints team that just got shut out. And without Chris Olave, Taysom Hill, Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, Rashid Shaheed, or even Marquez Valdes-Scantling, they're not striking fear in the hearts of anyone. While the Raiders' defense has been pretty bad throughout this year, they've been respectable over the last 3 weeks, averaging right around 8 points per game. Good for the 7th most during that stretch. The Raiders may not be a top option, but as long as Spencer Rattler or Jake Haener is starting in New Orleans, they are worth strong consideration. Number 5 on the list is the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons have been the top scoring defense in fantasy over the last 2 weeks, and they've been a top 5 defense over the past 4 weeks. And while their last 2 opponents have been the Raiders and Giants, the production is hard to ignore. Over the last 4 games, they have 16 sacks, 4 interceptions, 2 of which were returned for a touchdown, 3 fumble recoveries, a safety, and 2 block kicks. They're facing off against a Washington team that just had 5 turnovers. And while Jaden Daniels has been electric all year, he's taken 21 sacks and thrown 6 interceptions across his last 6 games. The Falcons just reclaimed control of the NFC South, and I expect them to do everything in their power to maintain it. Those are 5 defenses to stream in Week 17. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and let me know which defenses you think we should stream in the comments below.